to the shit no!
Had no idea what to expect, showed up and was floored by what they were doing on the track. I mean, it was just a practice, but here's this woman that was probably, what, I think she's 4'11", maybe, and she's flying around, I used to roller skate, so I know what it's like, but getting banged up and beat up and always dishing it out. She's amazing.
My first impression of Lima-Bean was that she truly was the little Inca warrior princess. There is a lot of fire in a little body.
She's friggin' gorgeous, and damn, that girl's good, and she's kicking our ass all over the place.
She was not as tall as the rest of us, but I knew she had packed a punch eventually when she got on the skates.
She was very sweet, and that she was genuinely a kind person and a caring person, and that she wanted to work hard, and that she wanted to, she wanted to be the best. Like, even though I didn't know her very well, like within her first few weeks on the team, she definitely had, high goals.
It was so cold out when I first met her that everybody was sort of just shivering and keeping to themselves a little bit more. And I thought she was a very soft-spoken, nice young lady and not the big, mighty, powerful lady that she actually is.
My first thoughts on Lima, can't believe that girl does roller derby. She just looked so sweet and innocent and harmless. And then seeing her in action was just like, wow, that's not the same girl I just met 5 minutes ago.
How is this tiny little girl going to make it in such a hard-hitting sport, roller derby? And I was quickly shown two things. I was quickly shown that that is the worst attitude to have about derby, and secondly, that I was very, very wrong.
She couldn't skate, and she was so tiny, and people around her were like, oh, what are you doing? You're never going to make it. And she did that, and not only did she do that in derby, but she did that in life. Like, she had so many high goals for herself on the track and off the track, and she's met every single one of them. Like, with her school, with her career, with captaining, she's just blossomed into this person who she had always wanted to be, and had roller derby help her find herself. And it's really inspiring to know someone who has worked so hard to be the person they are today.
She just seemed very welcoming and very easy to talk to. So for me at least, it was very easy for me to feel comfortable around her.
But in the time that I have known her, I've known her to be an incredibly generous spirit, and that includes derby, that includes life. I've never seen her steal the limelight or not offer something to somebody, and that's, I think, directly from her heart.
Never underestimate your opponent, and give 110%, because that's what she does every time out there. And that has helped me to really move forward in my skating.
Lima-Bean can be one of the funniest women I've ever seen. When she gets going with her Inca cries and shouting in her makeup. She's a riot, but she's also one of the most intelligent women I've ever had the privilege to speak to.
Just because I was hoping that I was going to get to work with her for longer than I really did. I'm grateful that I got to at least spend this season with her, but I was looking forward to maybe jamming against her or getting some more pointers from her.
At the meeting at the diner, when I first found out that Lima was retiring, it was kind of sad to know that she wasn't going to be skating with us anymore.
It was a crushing blow. I mean, here was my first season as a skater. I mean, it was one thing to be announcing and watching, but to get out there and compete. And the thing is, she only competed in a few of the jams, really, that I was in this year. So it was disheartening in the fact that as someone who tries to be the best that they are, you want to go against the best. And she is such a prolific jammer that it was very disheartening. But at the same time, finding out why she was retiring harkens back to the first time I ever was in a bout competitively, and the fact that, you know, I wasn't safe in one of my takedowns, and she paid the price for it. And I mean, that kind of hurt because, I mean, I may be part of the reason. So no, she, of course, being who she is like, no, don't, but it was crushing.
I was a little sad just because I know how much she loves Renegade Derby and skating and being on the team. It is bittersweet because it's nice to know that, you know, she was able to find something that she loved so much, you know, better to have loved and lost, I guess.
She had really, really given a lot to Derby and the team in general, and it was just very upsetting to have to see her walk away from that.
My first thought when I found out that Lima was retiring was pretty much, oh shit. You know, it was really sad, and just being with her and kind of, you know, seeing her process of dealing with that news and being there for her when she was dealing with that news, you know, was really hard to watch her go from, you know, sadness to acceptance, you know, to treating it as, you know, this year as something to celebrate, you know, and seeing her come to terms with it and allowing herself to celebrate her awesome career. You know, it is really sad, but at the same time, like, she has so much to be proud of, and she's done so much, and her career will always be remembered, you know.
My favorite Lima moment was, of course, watching her jam an entire game by herself and still beat us when we had more people and go to the breaking point. Nobody does that. This is a hobby. We do this for fun, and she almost broke herself, and that says a lot to me about what she thinks of the game and what she thinks of her team and her family.
I think that my favorite memory with Lima is us all drinking out of her Battlestar Galactica mug, just because I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica nerd too. And it was really fun to be able to celebrate.
She was prepping me for the trip to Peru and what to expect, and she talked about the team that we were going to go against and all the cool people on it, and she really showed me the world and another aspect of life, and you know, I'll never forget it.
When she was skating around the track for her final skate, just that emotion of that day was got to be the best.
I remember after a game once, she introduced me to her mom. And her mom says, "Arriba, Dali!" And she was so nice and polite. So not only is Lima awesome, her mom's awesome too, and that just filled me with lots of joy.
What comes to mind is one of the concerts that we went to, and she's just so exuberant, and I mean, you can't help but love her, and she just shares everything with everyone. So that concert, it just sticks in my mind. That big smile and from that little tiny person and all that love.
My favorite moment with Lima-Bean was the after party after the first Boomtown game in Bolivar. Apparently no one had seen the drunk Lima-Bean, and she dances like a master and wouldn't let Slaughter dance with her. She was just so funny the entire night. She looked like she felt terrible the next day, but that Puerto Rican rum kicked her little booty in a way that we couldn't on the track.
The first time we ever played Shred down in Virginia, and she jammed all but one or two jams, and she was so exhausted after the bout that she just collapsed on the line. And I remember giving her her victory lap with her on my shoulders, walking around the track.
It's hard to pick one favorite memory of Lima because there's so many. But I'd have to say two of my favorite memories are recently at the tournament and in Peru, just seeing her retirement game at home and her last couple jams during our HBD championship, and at the end when everybody came together and hugged, that was really special to see, how happy and sad that day was for her. And same thing in Peru. Like, Peru, it was just huge. There was just everybody just swarmed in after the game and was cheering her name, and she just looked so happy and so complete. And it was just such an amazing feeling to see her get to live out her dream of skating her retirement game in her home country. It was really beautiful. She's a future Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that.
Lima-Bean! 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 Lima-Bean!